Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Bliss, and we are here live at KUHS, and we are doing the Historic Elitch Theater podcast, and we have two wonderful guests in today. We have Jonathan Applegate from One Line. He's a one-line artist, and he'll talk more about that. And we have Colette, and she's from Sassy Knot Photography. And we have an amazing event coming up. It is the Tennyson Street Block Party, which we've been doing. This is our second year with Historic Elitch Theater. We'll have the Historic Elitch Theater Gallery. This year, our theme is Colorful Colorado. And we are partnering up with a lot of guests, a lot of artists, and a lot going on. We have 3 galleries, and I'm going to have Jonathan talk a little bit about his future drawn one-line gallery and a little bit about himself. And then we'll have Colette talk a little bit about Sassy Knot and how she is tied into all this. And this is all honoring Mary Elitch and the Historic Elitch Theater. So please check it out. You can check out our Facebook pages, our Twitter, our Instagram, or go to our website, historicelitchtheater.org, and check out everything we're doing. But let's talk with Jonathan and let's hear a little bit about you.
All right. Jonathan Applegate, one-line artist. I am the co-owner of the feature drawing One Line Gallery on Tennyson Street, 4420. And I basically am a specialist, or I specialize in doing handmade art using one continuous line that never crosses or intersects. And a lot of the stuff you can see, if not in person at my gallery, you can see online at www.featuredrawn.com. And I'm also on Instagram too. And we're basically very excited about this block party. It happens right in our alley, or in our parking lot.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking some red ropes, blocking it off, and we'll play with some cars, the classic car show, a whole bunch of attractions. I'm sure we'll be mentioned a little bit more. But the best part is that it's all ages, free, and it's trickling back to the community.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, creating unity in the community. And, the one thing that's really nice about this is the Historic Elitch Theater was that cultural hub. And so from the theater, you just walk down Tennyson Street and go to 44th, and we're right by another landmark, which is the Oriental Theater. So we will be right behind the Oriental Theater in the alleyway there, and we'll have the 3 galleries, 10th Street Coffee and Books, the One Line Gallery, and then also Michelle from Westward. And so we're very excited. So it's kind of like a 3-in-1 here. And so Colette, will you talk a little bit about how you've gotten involved in the kind of the cars that you'll be bringing, and a little bit about yourself and Sassy Knot Photography?
Sure, thanks, Michael. Again, I'm Colette with Sassy Knot Photography. I'm the owner and the only photographer, so that it's a one-girl show, if you will. I have always had an interest in all things vintage. It started with my grandmother, who grew up dancing at the Trocadero at Elitch Gardens, who saw many, many performances in the theater there. So my whole life has been growing up there. Saving the theater is very important in our community. I think these landmarks are being tragically lost, and I want to do whatever I can to help prevent that. So my series, Sassy and Steam, which is what we're featuring here, you'll see some of the cars that we've brought in. The cars are also part of the community. They're an artwork. Yes. These cars are these people's lives. They have invested some of their life savings into these cars, putting their own personal touches on it, making them their own. So we'll have a few guys that are going to come down and bring their cars. I think we've got at least one car club that's going to come down, and that is Kevin. He's part of Twisted Steel, and he'll bring a couple of guys. We're going to have some of the models that you'll see in the pictures later on if you feature on the website, follow along in the galleries. you'll see some of these models there on the Tennyson Street Block Party night. So that's August 2nd. There, first Friday,
First Friday on Tennyson. It's just a great event. Walking up and down Tennyson, checking out the food, the art, the businesses. It all really ties into bringing that community together. And so, Jonathan, let's talk a little bit about what people will see when they arrive at your gallery and what it's been like because it's the 1 year anniversary right now.
That's right. We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary last first Friday, and it's been a really good resonation for our community. And we just keep, reinvesting into what we call home, basically. And we've taken efforts to increase street safety by installing safety buttons that are meant to be the street crossing safety buttons. The flag, you can grab it, it's like a neon flag, and it signals to traffic that you're walking. So, when the street traffic is super congested, it just helps with that. And also increases efficiency because now cars have proper communication and they can adjust pretty well.
And they just put that up last 4th of July. And so, we were walking around putting up our posters. So here is our poster for the block party, and we saw the flags, and we were just talking about maybe doing some kind of fashion street show of people crossing the street, waving their flags, and
people are already having a blast. Doing some kind of performance with them as they cross.
So let's talk about First Friday. What is First Friday like on Tennyson, and what people will kind of expect because you partner up with different artists. I think you have Michelle this First Friday. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Michelle and the Westward Gallery too.
Nice. So within the Future Drawn Gallery on Tennyson, every First Friday, how we bring other artists and include the community is we feature a new artist and style to collaborate with. And I do it in different capacities, and I try to create it varied so there's a different experience every time. It's still stuck in true to my one-line style. This month, we're featuring Michelle Courier. She's with the Westwood Gallery. We share the same street. We're just getting into it. And I'm going to be pretty much doing a painting of a painting, but in my unique style. It'll be an interesting collaboration. It's definitely challenges me to do things, explore creativity itself.
Are you going to be doing this painting during First Friday so we can actually walk in and see you working on it, or is this something that'll be done?
That's a great question. I'm going to have it done for the grand reveal.
Okay.
You can see process shots on my Instagram at FutureDrawn. But on Saturday morning, we're going to be promoting the event by doing some live illustrations right there on the street.
Next Saturday?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. So, you could kind of get a pre-show.
Yep.
Of Jonathan doing the one line.
You get to see the lot where the block party is going to happen.
Great.
Nice little preview.
And so, Paulette, will you tell us kind of your process? How did you get started into photography? And then also, how did you come up with this idea of cars and steampunk?
So photography started because I have a young daughter who has special needs, and the typical photography studio, if you will, wasn't our cup of tea at all. They didn't understand her needs. So I challenged myself when she was about 4 years old, and we've never been back since. So I do all of our own photography for our family, and I realized I could carry that on and help other families who had the same challenges we did with going into a regular photography studio. So I go into families' homes and photograph them where they're more comfortable, capturing who they really are. The vintage pinup style is just my guilty pleasure, if you will. I enjoy women of all sizes, all shapes, all talents, and encouraging them to bring out their inner pinup, whatever that might look like to them.
Yeah.
It might be full dress and heels and tons of layers, or it might be a pair of jeans and tennis shoes. But it's encouraging every woman to find their own inner beauty, and I can help them bring that out of them.
Yeah, that's great.
Without having to take their clothes off. That's what's really important, is that women need to be encouraged to be who they are and comfortable in their own skin. Yeah. And I want to help foster that. So the pinup style is just encouraging women, mostly. The cars sort of go along with pinup. The hot rods have always been popular with pinup girls, so it was a natural pairing that I would bring that together. The steampunk is something new and different. Well, steampunk is gears. It's technology. It's how things work. It's how things come together. So blending the sassy and steam, which is the pinup and the cars together, was a beautiful pairing of how things work together.
So with this First Friday coming up in our Tennyson Street block party, you're getting some of those cars together, and will you have some of the girls there? And was this the first shoot that you had some guys in it too? Because you added a few males,
I
including
did.
me.
Including you were so gracious to help us. Yeah, actually, it was the first steam shoot that I've done as a huge scale steam.
Yes.
It is the first time that I've ever had males involved.
Yeah.
And it was really a nice blend of personality, and the structure of bringing a male into the shoot was so much fun because it gave everyone something to play off of, and it gave a more natural feel when we have those group shots that you were in with Jesse and with Kyle.
Yes.
And with the ladies, it's just it's natural. That's what you see.
And we had so much fun because we shot these at the theater and at the old carousel shell. And, the community really got involved because people were coming out of their houses. They were coming by asking what we're doing, and the smiles on their faces. All of a sudden, we're talking to neighbors as we're doing the shoot, and some of them stuck around for hours just watching what we were doing and just had smiles from ear to ear. And getting something going again while we're in that restoration, that just people were so glad to see the cars, see the costumes, see the steampunk. And so that's really what we're all about is keeping that history alive, keeping, that cultural hub going. And even on Tennyson, that's a big part of how Tennyson got started as a cultural street, because it was right there, and that corner was the hub.
I wish they would put a trolley back in on Tennyson.
Oh yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and if you look at the old photos, the trolleys that came through, and that would be a lot of fun. So, Jonathan, tell us your experience on Tennyson so far, because you're really working with the businesses. You're part of TVBA. Let's hear a little bit about your first year on Tennyson.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I've kind of been in the neighborhood for 12 years as an artist. I did my first mural over at Moss Chaos. It's around 45th Isaac, and that was about 2 years ago. And then a year later, I did a label for Wine Cake Rooms just up the street at Walk Away. And then again, a year later, I ended up getting gallery space right in between. So it's really interesting how these other larger opportunities ended up being a short distance from where I actually show my art. It's been interesting to already be welcome to the community so much. And I'm part of the TVBA, and collaborate against the Tennyson Berkeley Business Association. We collaborate together to make sure that the experience on Tennyson is. We really focus on First Fridays.
And how can people find out more about what's going on in Tennyson? Because TVBA has a website, right?
Yep, exploretennyson.com.
Yeah.
It shows the events. People keep it up pretty regularly. It also shows the discounts.
And I think it also has a little bit about the history too, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to learn more about the history of Tennyson, and it even has some information about the theater in Elitch Gardens there, because the theater is actually the original Elitch Gardens, and so that was where I grew up. I'm a native, and that's where I had the best time of my life. Was going there.
Yeah.
So we miss it so much, and so we want to see that theater open again. We want to see those doors open and events there. Once again, the carousel shell is beautiful. Just the photos that you took. Let's talk a little bit about the photos and kind of what you're doing with that.
So again, Michael, they're a tribute to the culture in the area. They're a tribute to the history of these buildings, and keeping them alive by keeping them in the forefront of these pictures. I could have done any location, but it didn't make sense because this benefit for these galleries that I'm putting together, a portion of these are going to go straight back to the Historic Elitch Theater Foundation and saving the theater and getting those children's programs back in again. I have a 12-year-old, and I want those children's programs back in the community. I want to see these kids on stage again. I think that would be the best tribute we could offer to Mary Elitch. Is getting these kids back into the arts and encouraging them to be creative in their communities. So that's why the photos had to be there.
Yeah.
They had to have English theater in the background. They had to have the car show.
And I think you're right about creativity. As far as being an integral part of a solution, because I feel like creativity is like problem solving.
It is.
That's all creativity is. And then say, you can problem solve, but what is it? Necessity is another invention. So, you're right. These efforts aren't continuing. It doesn't grow.
Right. Exactly.
Well, yeah, we're losing these historical places in like Heritage Square amusement park just shut down, and even a restaurant just shut down that was part of my childhood, the White Fence Farm.
Yes.
And we're losing the heritage of Denver, and this is all a big part of who we are and how Denver began. And so that's why it's so important why we're doing this block party to just get that community together. And really, because nowadays, so many kids are just at home on their phones or in front of the TV or are playing their video games, and we're not having that family experience anymore. And so it's just so important. We're also putting together the 1101 experience, and that's where your gallery will go up. And then that's September 7th. And really, our goal is to bring this mini con and make it a family con and bring it over to Historic Helix Theater because there's so much land there. We have the theater, we have the carousel shell. And so, talk a little bit about the 1101 Event Center and the gallery and your experience, because you were there last year. So tell us a little bit about your experience, and that'll be September 7th. So this is kind of the opening reception for the block party, and we're going to be promoting the 1101 experience is what we're calling it. And then the goal is to move it over to the theater and make that a family con where it's all family friendly. The kids could get off their phones, get off their computers, get off of the television and come as a family. That's what's important.
I agree. I think that getting our kids back into the community and getting them interested in what's happening in their community, whatever that looks like, if it means coming in costume, if it means finding an art project, creating their own art. My daughter has a camera and she follows me around. It might be my cell phone camera, it might be a smaller digital camera, but she's imitating what I do.
Yeah.
So I have to set the example of what do I want her to be? Do I want her to be on her phone and on the iPad all the time? No. I want her to be out and doing things, creating things, challenging herself. So this Family Con, this 1101 experience for me is the opportunity to not keep it within the little community of just the cons, the mini cons, the webby cons, and all cons that we have in the area, but to expand it and to bring more families into this experience from many different cultures, many different areas of the community, bringing them all together. And doing those chalk arts with Laura Thomas is going to be joining us as a professional artist.
And that'll be at the block party.
It'll be at the block party.
Yes.
She's going to be encouraging kids, pick up a piece of chalk, draw on the sidewalk. What can you do in your own home? She is going to be working with those kids as well as an influx with the kids on the ground. Kids activities. What can we do at home?
So please bring the kids, because we want the kids there.
Yes.
We want them to see the art. Jonathan also has some pieces for the blind, right?
It's true. That's how we got associated. It was a really neat situation. That's how we got established with Blind for Healing. We were commissioned by a realtor to do a one line of the house that was sort of realtor property. We found out that one of the owners was blind. And so me and my business partner, were helping with our blind and wanted. So we racked our brains on the different techniques and developed. It's much like Braille, but we raised the one line so that you could see his brewery and touch it on the surface of the glass.
Fascinating.
And it's a fun thing to explore, and it inspired him so much he actually commissioned us to design their crowler logo. So it's also blind accessible. So you can visit his brewery and check that out. And the actual piece that I gave him as the gift is screwed onto the wall. So you can go up and touch it yourself.
Is that at your gallery?
It's actually at the Blind Faith brewery, as well as my gallery as well.
Yeah. And one thing cool is Jonathan, he has blindfolds for you too to put on.
If open your eyes is too tempting.
Yeah, so you can put the blindfolds on and then feel the peace. So just that's what it's all about is catering to your community and partnering up with the businesses and the artists, and you do a lot of that too. So is this a monthly thing that you're trying to do where you partner up with other artists and then work together?
All the time. Every month, every first Friday. So even through the winter, again, you got to be thinking about something to do in the fun.
Yeah.
Get your snow boots on and come on down, right? And so we're going to be open in the winter as well. But it's obviously the best now because you can be out 70 degrees in the nighttime. And it's a great time to be out in the nightlife. So August 2nd is going to be a really good one. And what I like the most about the Bliss Fest is that you have the entire month of events happening.
Yeah.
And it just keeps rolling to the next thing. So if you can't make one, you just go to the other.
Yeah, and so talking about Bliss Fest, so this is our opening reception, and we partnered up with Historic Helix Theater to tie in these events while the theater is closed to keep that programming alive, to keep things so people see that we're still here because we don't want this to disappear. And so with these events, this is all in partnership with the businesses on Tennyson, and then we have the film festival, which isn't quite so family friendly with that part of it. But the 1101 event, which is September 7th, that is completely family friendly because the film festival just has a mixture of films, and so we have filmmakers from all over the world, and then a lot of local filmmakers, and the ratings are like PG and up. So that one is more of kind of adult themed, not children. But the cool thing is that it's about film and theater and acting, and so that is August 24th and 25th. We're premiering Jurassic Thunder on August 24th. That is a local independent film, a feature film. And then on August 24th, we have Hush Little Baby, which is a premiere, and Rage of the Mummy, and then a lot of other films. So you can check out blissfest333.com for that information. And it all ties into the community and really working together and really building community.
Well, I think it's also important to mention that at these different events, there are vendors there, different artists. So, photographers like myself, but there are multimedia artists in painters and in sculptures, jewelry, musicians, poets that are all going to be part of Bliss Fest and part of the Tennyson Street Block Party. So it's not just one art form. That I think that's so wonderful. You could just have a film series, or you could just have a photography series, but you've involved the entire artist community, and it really opened it up to, yes, please bring your drawings, bring your 2D drawings. Bring your anime.
Yeah.
Bring your paranormal services.
Yeah.
Bring your costumes.
We also
come out to the ball.
We also have Rocky Mountain Paranormal Society too that could talk a little bit about the history of these buildings because they've been into a lot of these older buildings. But I also wanted to mention with the film festival, we do have a children's film festival, and it ties into Mary Elich and her Children's Day because she would have over 3,000 children there on the grounds teaching the arts. So we have our Children's Day International Film Festival September 14th and 15th. So we have our more mature film festival for, the older kids is what I like to call them.
Right.
And then we have our Children's Day International Film Festival, which also ties into, and we're in conjunction with the International Youth Silent Film Festival. And so we've had these kids make a silent film, which is also, we're teaching them what silent film is all about. And Thomas Edison first screened his films there at the theater in 1896. So we are bringing back that history by teaching the children how to make a silent film. And you still have time to make a silent film. You go to makesilentfilm.com and you could submit your silent film and you could read exactly, you download the soundtrack and then you make the silent film around that soundtrack. And the winners go, this is global, this is around the world, and the winners go to Portland and they have a chance to win up to $4,000. So get your families, make film, and then that'll be at the Bug Theater September 14th and 15th. So we tie, we get everybody involved, and that really is what is so important. Bringing your families, coming to Tennyson, checking out the businesses, going to the restaurants, because most of the businesses on Tennyson are small businesses. They're not corporate. Yeah.
And the cool thing too is the variety.
Yeah.
There's a brewery every block. There's every type of cuisine, right? There's sushi, there's Asian crepes, to pizza. It's just everything to think of this day.
Custard shop. I think they put 2 ice creams shops down there.
Right.
And so we're gonna have a food truck too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a mac and cheese. It's a cheese booth.
Yeah.
That will be showing up.
That's everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
There'll also be a fashion truck.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
They do upcycled vintage. They curate the collection that she shows. So she'll be showing up as well. And I don't know if we've mentioned the Tennyson Street Coffee yet, but you're going to be showing 2 features in that, right?
Yeah, so that'll be on the front side, as you walk into Tennyson, we'll have the Historic Village Theater Gallery getting local artists together, and that's the themed Colorful Colorado. And then on the other side, we have Ralph Giordano, who is one of our partners, and he is featuring Kendra Buck. And so from all the photos that he's done, and so then you could go over to the westward and then be in the alley that evening with the Future Drawn One Line Gallery, and then they'll just be performers, musicians, and we have magicians, and just a lot of things to look at. We'll have, and yep, there's a treasure hunt. I'm not sure if we're doing it I was talking to Jesse, but there'll be a big treasure hunt at the 1101 event center for kids to get the families together to walk around. And that's another thing. We have a lot of people that don't like to get out and that are kind of an introvert. So this gets them to take a treasure map, get the kids to check out everybody there, and then search and look through the event to find and check it off, and then there'll be prizes for that. So it'll be a lot of fun and fun for everyone. So we're getting close. We have about 4 minutes. So let's just talk about your art and how people could find you and anything else you could think of.
Let's see. Now that we're near the end, it cracked me up when I was ironing my shirt. I was like laughing at myself. I'm about to go on a radio show. Why am I getting dressed for this, right? So I'm glad I did, because we're broadcasting.
Yes.
So I just thought that was funny. But yeah, I'm a co-owner of the gallery, and I do all of the art by hand. I feel like in the digital age, it's handmade this week.
Yeah.
Or a little bit more. I don't know. Just
And where could they see some of these videos of you doing this and check out more?
Just speaking of like silent films, that's pretty much kind of what I make when I'm doing time lapse and stop animation process shots of my pieces. So I have a YouTube handle, Future Drawn, as well as the website futuredrawn.com, as well as Instagram at Future Drawn. And it basically features a variety of all the things that are out there. I work closely with clients in giving personalized gifts, because art, I find, is already so personal, so it looks great for gifts. It's good fun to for custom ideas all the time. And the best thing is I like is when my art inspires somebody else to make a cool piece. So, they'll take a picture of the cathedral and almost as a challenge, like, good luck, try to draw this one. I found out that those challenging ones actually come out the best, usually my favorite. It's interesting. It becomes a very unique one-to-one interaction that I have with people, because you get to, as a client, you get to, because I'm alive, you get to dictate the art instead of just buy what you happen to make an example.
So, Colette, how could we find more of your work, and where can we go to see what you're working on?
Sure. My website is actually under the parent photography company, so it's rusticknotphotography.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram for both Rustic Knot and Sassy Knot Photography. So my art, even though, it is digital, it's very personalized. So it is, no, not at all. It's just different. But it is very personal in that I want to help my clients further their family, a senior portrait session, or someone who's come to me and just says, I need to find myself. Bringing that out in their world of showing them, this is what I see as an artist, and there's a difference. I can look at their pictures if they've taken pictures with someone else, and I can see that they weren't confident. So it's about establishing